Hello friends and beautiful starseeds. Welcome to yet another psychic channeling with the Lyrans. As you see, I wanted to just begin this in nature. I have my bare feet on the ground. You know, grounding is just so important, especially when you are an empath and sensitive being and psychic. So a lot of you already know this, but so I just wanted to start kind of different with this channeling, and so here I am. I am going to freestyle with this psychic channeling with the Lyrans, and just a quick little, background for those of you who don't know, who haven't watched the other channelings that I've done with these Lyran beings. Lyran beings are from the star constellation of Lyra, and I myself have really strong roots and discovered my cosmic connections and past life connection to Lyra, a really strong one anyways. So that's one of the reasons why I am doing this now. I'm sharing this information as a Lyran starseed myself, and yeah, it's been incredible to see what has come through in the other Chronicles, and Chronicle 1 and 2. This one, Chronicle 3 here, I'm gonna freestyle, kind of like I did in the first one. The second one, I developed a little bit more of a structure. I came up with some questions to actually ask these beautiful Lyran beings, but this time I'm gonna freestyle again. That's what I'm feeling called to do. So I don't necessarily know what I'm talking about yet. So it's going to be a little bit of a surprise and, I guess, mystery. I do feel really strongly, though, because this is what's been coming through for me personally. And a lot of the stuff that I share and touch on in channelings for the collective is stuff that's going on within me, right? As above, so below. So some of those things that I've really been tuning into and I feel like are going to come through in this reading have to do with truth, powerful and personal truths, freedom, how your truth ties into freedom, the freedom of the collective, though, on a large scale. And I feel like there's definitely some things that are going to come through in regards to signs and symbols within your environment, within, the world in general, that you can connect to, that you can synchronize to, that will give you more confirmation and validity during this timeline shift, ascension period that we're in. Whatever you want to call it, the Great Reset, which is what, some are calling it in mainstream news, whatever you want to call it. So I'm fascinated to go ahead and get started. Without further ado, let's go ahead and tap into the Lyran energy. Discovering truth, yeah? Many of you beautiful starseeds, earthlings, human beings, are getting reacquainted with your truth, with the concept and definition of truth. You see, most of humanity has been disconnected from truth. What is truth, really? Well, truth is perception. Truth is reality. Your truth and your perception are reality. And therefore, that reality, that perception is truth. Your feelings, which are non-physical, are they not? Your feelings, which are non-physical, are just as valid, just as real as the physical environment that you're in, as the home or office building that you're in, yes? Your truth is such an incredible tool and key for you, for all of you, all of humanity, in breaking through and breaking free from the matrix, from the system, from the corrupt hierarchy and hierarchical system that has been in place for so long. Your truth aligns you with oneness, with the one, with the I am, with the self, with the center point, within the center point. Look at the symbolism of the sun and what the symbol of the sun is, yes? In astrology, yes? Unity, oneness, again, it's nothing to be feared of. It's nothing to be scared of. Like some of you are. Like some of you feel like you have to be, because you feel like you will lose, and we've touched on this before, you feel like you will lose your identity, your individuality. You won't lose yourself or your individuality by merging into oneness, by finding that unification point and aligning with it. You are still yourself. You are still your truth. You must connect with your truth. So many of you have suppressed your truth. You've suppressed it. Many of you are still suppressing it, starseeds included. Okay, the starseeds have only begun to really awaken and activate. This is why a lot of you are here, yes? A lot of you are starseeds. You are further awakening and activating, deepening your connection. Okay? You must begin, this is one of the starting points besides working on and healing the polarity dynamic that is disrupted your world, your living. Connecting to your truth. And not just connecting to it, you must carry it out. You must speak it. You must be it. You must be it. Your truth. Do you think it's coincidence that protections were put in place for whistleblowers? Whistleblowers are truth bringers. The truth can be hard. The truth can be scary. It can threaten you, especially within the old system of oppression. You have an incredible window of opportunity right now where you are protected from external forces and external threats from harming you. All it is a threat. Sorry guys, bear with me 1 second. Let me just kind of refocus a line here. The same threat does not linger over you, does not hold you captive. It does not. You can speak your truth. You can speak up against the hierarchy. You can speak up against toxicity. What is imbalanced, what is negative for you. How the system, how governments, how corporations, how relationships have been toxic for you. What has been done. What you yourself gave into. In order for all of these illusions to work, in order for all of them to work and keep you captive, there had to be the duality game. Your consent. Many of you have to own this. You have to take responsibility for this. Accept it. Let it go. Don't be harsh on yourself. But you must accept it, yes? Responsibility for keeping yourselves captive in many ways, because you gave your consent. Many of you, you've given your consent because you didn't want to disrupt the system. You didn't want to disrupt or offend the hierarchy, those in power, that person in power. You didn't want to disrupt them and their rules, their mission, their agenda. You feared consequence. You feared losing your job. You feared being without. You feared your livelihood being taken away. No more. No more. The truth sets you free. Yes, that has been spoken and echoed within many, many religions, spiritual paths. The truth sets you free. Your truth, your perception, your reality. Your divine being, your holistic being, not just your conscious self, not just your subconscious self, not just your physical body, not just your non-physical emotions, thoughts, heart, vibration. You are both. You are your non-physical, you are your physical. Speak and honor your truth. Which truth are you afraid of? Most of you, you have been afraid of your non-physical truth, your non-physical powers. Many of you, especially starseeds, this is one way in which you have specifically been kept captive and asleep in that illusion, the matrix, yeah? Embrace your truth. Embrace your power. The power. There's a lot of power within the subconscious. You've been tuned out largely from your subconscious for so long. You see, it's servicing a lot now in your world. Yes, the subconscious, consciousness, these terms, these are so key for you right now. And you're getting more reacquainted with the subconscious, but equally the conscious. Each has to engage with the other in order for a holistic integration picture. You yourself, your truth, must be holistic. It must be whole. So engaging your physical and non-physical. You see, we come back to how you have been polarized and living in this rather harmful vibration of duality. Lessons learned, yes. But those lessons are over. Now, you come back to oneness, to integration, to unity. where you're physical, you're non-physical, you're feminine, you're masculine, you're yin, you're yang, you're dark, you're light, they all meet. Because they are both important. Some of you have put more focus on your conscious, some of you actually have put more focus on your subconscious. Largely, many of you have been disconnected from your subconscious. You've been programmed to fear it because the subconscious rules what many would say the majority of your mind, of your being. And then the conscious is a little bit more focused. So let's go back to that symbol of the sun, yes? A circle, or a circle within a circle, circle within a circle. Yes, the circle and the dot in the center. That little dot, center little circle, is the conscious. The outer, bigger circle encircling the little circle, the little dot, is the subconscious. You see? But we don't necessarily want you to view this in a hierarchical fashion, okay? That is what we are trying to guide you in breaking out of. Sure. Some of you may choose a polarized timeline still. Going back to the Kabbalah tree of life, some of you want severity. Some of you want mercy. All light, all dark, but the pillar of mildness and the point in which you meet knowledge, beauty, like the Silver Sphinx has spoken of. That is true paradise. That is true stuff of legends for you. The Garden of Eden, Avalon, paradise, Narnia. It is that point, the integration, the unity point, where you accept and unify, work together, your dark and your light, your physical, your non-physical. The matrix, the external sort of dark forces and system, had to have your consent in order for the illusion to fully work. So yes, give yourself forgiveness for giving your consent, for giving that control to the dark forces, to the matrix, for giving your consent, your word, your truth. It split you. It fractured you. And you became enslaved. You've been slaves for a long time. Ooh, maybe you've become what you might call glamorized slaves. Oh, but you're still slaves. And many of you, especially you starseeds, are awakening now. You know this, you are realizing this, you see this. This is why you see these stories within your news surfacing of people rebelling, speaking up against corporations, against governments, against the system of control, the hierarchy. The imbalance. The natural order of things in the universe, in the cosmos, is actually unity. It is not this duality, this split, this fracturing. So again, forgive yourself for giving your consent to the matrix, to the dark forces. It was a manipulation. And it was a comforting lie. It was a comforting illusion in many ways. Some of you are still holding on to that comfort. But especially you starseeds, you know, you feel you cannot hold on to that illusion for long, to that comfort for long, to the comfort the illusion gave you. No. 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 Use the word no a little more often, especially you empaths and starseeds. Say no. Get a little more acquainted with your dark side. Yes, the subconscious. Yes. Get more acquainted with your dark side, your subconscious. Do not necessarily go radical, unless going radical means, for a brief time, bringing it back into balance, bringing you, yourself, your truth back into balance. Yes? Sometimes the Matrix may have pulled you a little too far over to mercy, to where it's just all light, all rose-colored glasses, if you will. Blinders on, yes? Out of touch. So you have to pull more on the dark side. The subconscious has to pull more. You have to fall into that more in order to balance out where you were here, where you were pulled more here. And then boom, a meeting point, an integration point hits. You see, and this is happening collectively around the globe, around your world, around Earth. There's a tug of war. A tug of war. There are a couple of different options with tug of war in reaching that integrative point, that point of peace and unity, divine peace. You can either struggle against each other while inching towards each other, where you both meet in the middle, but you're still pulling, you're still both holding on, but pulling equally. Or you can go the other route, where you both surrender and start to let go, ease up on the rope, ease up on the tug of war. You both start to ease up, and finally, both of you drop the rope. You drop the tug of war. And you're both at peace, surrendered, not working against each other. Maybe physically the representation is you're further apart, but are you? Are you? We know that many of these messages we are conveying, synchronicities we are making, are firing up your senses, maybe shocking your conscious mind a little bit. Accept it, let it be. There's always room for digestion. You will always have room and space for digestion. Trust yourself, going back to trust again, right? From when we spoke about trust earlier. Trust yourself, that you can handle the insight, that you can handle these pathways opening within you, heart and brain coherence. Trust that you can handle it, and trust that you will give yourself the space you need to integrate, to digest. It's what you really have to do right now with the remainder of your summer or your solstice period, depending on where you are at in the world. Before you break into the next equinox period, it is essential that you do this fine balance of receiving from source the light codes, the codes from your sun, yes, and grounding that information, digesting it. Earthing, grounding, sure. These are good representations, yes. But also there's different expressions, okay? So much is coming through that is still is activated with the Lion's Gate portal that happened. That Lion's Gate is still actually open. It is part of what is sending down these new plasmic light codes. This is giving you a window, an open doorway into your subconscious, linking the two. Giving light to what you yourself blinded yourself from because you gave your consent, but also equally you were blinded from seeing by external forces. External powers, yes. It all makes up the matrix and the illusion. Both sides, external, internal, internal, external. Freedom is most closely tied to your truth, coming back to truth, you see? Truth, truth, truth. Connect with your truth. Speak your truth. You will be shocked. You will be surprised. Pleasantly so for a lot of you. How your truth and speaking your truth, expressing your truth, whether that be through art, words, creativity, whatever, expressing it. Perhaps you are displeased with your government or a business corporation. Speak it. Put it out there. See what happens right now. Many of you will be pleasantly surprised. What will happen to you? You feel like you'll be taken away, locked up, thrown into a lion's den? No. You will not. Trust yourself. Trust that you are protected. You are protected. You are invited to speak your truth. You don't have to protect yourself from your own truth, from speaking your truth. That's why a lot of you are still shy and scared to get on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, and speak your truth. Speak your disapproval as well as your approval. We want to encourage you, empower you. Do not hold yourself back anymore. Not now. Not now. The Lion of Truth. The Lion of Truth is sending down codes through the Lion's Gate portal and more. The archetype of Leo is strong and alive. Remember, you are in the Aquarius and Leo age. You are on the Leo timeline, depicted in the Kabbalah Tree of Life, yes? As the Silver Sphinx has discussed before in other videos. The Strength card, linked to the 4th and 5th density points. Leo energy. Many revelations with that sign and archetype. Truth, truth, truth. It will truly indeed set you free. Your truth equals freedom. Breaking free. Some of you need another metaphor, yes? Like in the tarot card, strength, the timeline in which you are on, like we just discussed. You see a woman with a wild animal. Some tarot decks depict a woman with a lion. Some depict a woman with a boar. See how they work and are loving in unison. Do not fear your truth attacking you or coming back to haunt you. Somehow manifesting an attack from external force who does not want to hear your truth. That's just a fear. Let that fear go. Work in unison with your truth, your dark and light truth. It is all a part of the same whole. Truth, freedom. We want to say about the star seeds, which maybe some of this has been revealed in the Silver Sphinx prophecies, which you can read, of course, but something we want to bring up with the star seeds. First, that you are protected. There are threats against you, mostly which are completely unseen right now. They're what you would call psychic threats, psychic attacks. But they will manifest physically more and more. You will understand more and more as you get acquainted with the light and the light of your own truth. You'll see you could say physical evidence. You will have more physical evidence, not just non-physical evidence. So you will be integrating non-physical evidence with physical evidence. What you would call physical evidence. Yes? Okay? You will see the merging of the two. This will protect you. Having the knowing, the clear sight, will protect you. Trust this, my star seeds. You must be confident and trust yourself and have the knowing in order to move forward with your purpose, in order to access and use more of your supernatural psychic gifts. There's so much within psychology, and the psychology that many of you are changing, and you're all on your own individual journey. Some of you are having to activate and awaken yourself and your supernatural abilities more through connecting more to, your truth, like we're talking about. Some of you, it's about more connecting to your this quality of trust, like we mentioned, or connecting to this quality of attachment, or a quality of detachment. Okay, you see, we're all on our own path. Many of us are connecting and adjusting and healing many of these qualities, a lot of the same qualities, yes, of course, but some of us more of certain qualities than other qualities, yes? All individual journey, but all likened. These psychological alignments that we are bringing up, that we're discussing, like truth and trust, protection, feeling safe, all these things, they are linked to your activation, your true activation. You have to have the knowing, you have to have the understanding, you have to have the knowledge in order for all of these other physical manifestations and supernatural gifts and abilities to take place, in order for them to really fully emerge, in order for you to really fully know. You must have the subconscious understanding and connection, and the conscious understanding and connection. As above, so below as above. Starseeds. We open you, activate you more so than ever now. And you, yourself, yes? We sense most of you consenting. This is good consent. Do you feel? How do you know? How do you determine truth, right, within your environment? How do you determine whether the thing is more dark or more light for you, more positive, more negative for you? You trust the feeling you get. You trust the gut. Do you trust the feeling of alignment, of balance, of harmony that you get with consenting to this awakening? Then there's your answer. When you conform, when you give your power away to the system, to the matrix, to that company, to that government, do you feel more negative, more positive? Do you feel your gut, your intuition drop? Do you feel it go up? Do you feel it harmonize? There lies your answer. Remember to trust your gut. Not even just remember anymore. Just stop and breathe. And just know. Just be one with it. Signs, symbols within your environment you want to confirm, to verify all of this information to what you're already feeling and seeing in the world. You want the Silver Sphinx prophecies, yes? Well, many of you have read those. Many of you resonate with those. More is coming, and we will give more. Some perhaps that have not been disclosed yet in the Silver Sphinx prophecies, but let us give you one new one now. How about that? When you see more mushrooms growing in your environment, within your space, your yard, when you see more mushrooms and colossals, kingdoms of mushrooms growing in your yard, in your space, you can know, you can be affirmed that you have connected more with your subconscious, your supernatural self, your psychic knowing and gifts. Be affirmed, yes. The mushrooms, especially colossals of mushrooms that grow You see more and more. They are growing in your yard. They are growing in nature. They are growing in the park. You see them. You connect with the mushroom. This is a physical sign in your environment, yes, that you are connecting more with that underworld, the subconscious, the underworld, the outer world, the conscious, the subconscious, you see? And that, for many of you starseeds, is a big leap, a big affirmation, a big confirmation. Those mushrooms are manifestations, basically, of your subconscious surfacing, your subconscious power surfacing. Yes, the mushrooms, the colossals of mushrooms. This is new for many of you, yes. Even the Silver Sphinx. More mushrooms are literally coming into the spotlight. Not just of your own individual homes and yards, parks, nature retreats, but you are seeing the rights for mushrooms, for intake of mushrooms, for using mushrooms as plant spiritual medicine, for spirit journeys. You see that coming to light within your information, within your news more, do you not? Yes? It is all a sign, all of sign and representation symbol for your subconscious power and also divine feminine being enlivened again. Because for many of you, especially starseeds, that is what was suppressed within you by the Matrix. That was what was suppressed more so within you, starseeds, your subconscious, because subconscious holds so many superpowers, supernatural abilities, which many of you starseeds are masters of. You are masters of. Many of you starseeds are masters. Yes, that is why you are here. The 30% we speak of, the starseeds, to help lead and guide humanity and newer souls who are awakening also, and maybe first getting in touch with their supernatural abilities and this dimension and space and timeline of being in the paradise, the heaven meets earth, the Avalon, the Narnia. You see? And for many of you starseeds, being in this particular period of time for your soul's growth you've never been in before. For many of you starseeds here on Earth now, this is a new experience for your soul and will be a graduation for your soul in your soul's growth and evolution. Because many of you have never been on a planet at the transitional time of physical to non-physical. That first connection, that first big leap and initiation period. Many of you souls, starseed souls, have not actually had the opportunity to experience that particular point in time of transition there. Many of you starseeds, you've experienced being in the higher dimensions, which is why you have these higher supernatural abilities. And you've experienced the much lower, dense timelines, where it was just physical. Yes, so you have those. But for many of you starseeds, this particular meeting point where civilization integrates in this powerful way, in this big, shocking, fast, and progressive way. It is new for you. It is your first time as a soul experiencing this. Someone agrees with us, yes. So this is beautiful, star seeds. So beautiful. It is also a graduation and learning for you. You're still learning. You may be the leaders or master teachers of this new age, new density, new timeline, but you still have much to learn. Of course, all souls still learn. It's not like on Earth where you go to your college, you go to your university, you get a degree in the thing you choose to get a degree in to support yourself. We're not like that, where that is your whole life. That one job or concept. And it is so limiting how your system and education structure is set up like that. And we're spilling into some other things here, yes, but the change in society and civilization, you perceive, it has been taught to you, and the perception has been taught to you that the tribal mindset was lower consciousness. Therefore, you shouldn't go back to it. That's a lie. When societies, when civilizations were operating more in that tribal manner and connection to nature, you see them, barefoot, without shoes on the earth, and living closer to nature. You have been taught, and that perception taught to you is believe that that's lower consciousness and that is almost disgusting and filthy. Wrong, wrong, wrong. This is another illusion and lie that has been taught to you. That was an image, a depiction of a higher timeline that was on your earth. A greater period of time of higher consciousness, They actually had higher consciousness, you see. So breaking these illusions, these things that you have been taught, and then connecting perhaps more with that energy from that image that you saw in old textbooks that you were taught to actually fear or push away from. No, connect with it more now. It's one of the reasons why we and other spiritual beings and starseeds out there are saying, ground more, connect with nature more, bare feet on the earth, yes? Like what your ancestors did, who had, we're talking about old civilizations, old ancestors, higher consciousness. This all will stir within you and awaken you more to your true knowing, to truth, to your higher consciousness, enabling you to truly break free from the system, from the polarity matrices, allowing you to break free, to live free, more joyful, more comforted, in peace, and in love. For many of you, we do want to encourage and empower you to read and explore the Silver Sphinx world prophecies. For we do not want to take up too much time and repeat ourselves here. For many of you starseeds, now we want to tell you and encourage you to connect with stars, crystalline energy, anything that makes you feel, anything that makes you resonate with and remember crystalline energies. That could be crystals, literally crystals, quartz crystals especially. It could be the stars, or representations of stars in art. We want you to connect more with that energy, that symbol. Okay, connect more with your conscious, your above, your heavenly self. Now, during this particular time frame. For some of you that means a week. For some of you that means a few weeks. Trust yourself to know how much time you actually need for this, but we want to encourage a lot of you starseeds now. You have been making the underworld connection, the subconscious connection, or getting acquainted with it, yes. Integrate, balance out now a little bit more. Connecting to your heavens, to your upper world, to the stars, to crystals, to crystalline energy, which are stars, yes. It's a connection. Crystals and flowers are but stars of the earth. Remember that too. Connecting with these energies. Like we said, we'll connect you more with this. More of that energy that will bring you so sharply into focus. It stirs a deeper, quicker, expansive awakening within you. Connecting with that light and those beautiful light codes coming down from source, from the one, from sun. Trust that you will be taken care of, especially during these rocky periods that may scare you because of your uncertainty, because you do not consciously know the truth of what's going on, the chaos that is ensuing, that is growing, that is. But try hard not to look at the chaos as an enemy, as negative, as evil. Try not to. The chaos is just a little shake-up and lesson, vibration, informing you. Just informing you. But trust that you will be taken care of. Your survival needs are met. Your survival needs are met. Okay? So when more rocky situations arise within your world, within your known reality, such as another lockdown. What will this lockdown be about? Could it be another virus? Sickness, the threat of sickness and illness and disease again? Could it have something to do with the grid, with the environment, with global warming? The sun codes coming down, in other words? It might. Are some of these lockdowns or rolling energy power outages already happening in your world? Yes. For those of you who have not realized this yet, only look to your news. Has it already begun, is what we're asking and saying. Yes, it has begun. Might this just be a prediction that maybe many of you, especially starseeds, have already predicted? Yes. So let this just affirm you, because many of you have already predicted things like this. Trust that your survival needs will be met. You don't have to know the exact how. Will it be universal basic income? Will it be stimulus? Will it be you developing your own online business that you can do from home? Will it be something else? Supernatural abilities activated within you that enable you to live off grid, to live how you please, to where you are not dependent on a lockdown and the rules of a lockdown, of the regulations of the lockdown. You can rise above such things. And many of you starseeds, you are in the process. Some of you are there, some of you are in the process, some of you are close to that point of rising above such things, rising above that darker timeline of lockdowns and having to submit to the laws and rules of the lockdowns in order for your survival needs to be met. No. You starseeds, especially you upcoming 10%, like the Silver Sphinx prophecies talks about, your time of rising above this system altogether, those rules and regulations with the lockdowns or whatever may come about, what more might come about, you will rise above that. You will simply not need the system because of your consciousness breakthrough, your breakthrough in consciousness, true enlightenment. Now, for those of you who are in that process or in transitionary period, whether you are a starseed or a new soul awakening to all of this, know that you will be protected and survival needs met, because even the darker timeline, darker forces system, matrix, are gonna provide for you, even if that is in the form of a universal basic income or digital currency or something. So either way you look at these timeline shifts, the ascension period that you're in and all of it, either way it is getting lighter for you. But as always, there's an equal sort of darkness and scariness that has to sort of match the lightness and joy, positivity, yes? seeing through the illusions. Some of you really are connecting with and need to connect with, because it will service you and help you in the most holistic way, is getting connected with geometry, biogeometry, biogeometric patterning. This is key for many of you, especially star seeds, awakening, graduating. Heart and brain coherence. Biogeometry. Biogeometry. It is a huge game changer for you. For you. For you. There's some information out there about this that perhaps we won't touch on all or have the linear time to touch on all now. So look it up, explore it. But we will share a little bit with you now. Understanding specific patterns, shapes within your environment, within your own body, sphere, aura, energetic field is so important. You can invite in and block so many things. Invite in or block. It's a part of this next key and breakthrough and manifestation. In protection, in barrier, in non-barrier, in closed off, and being open. Understanding which shapes and patterns invoke certain things for you, such as this crystal this star seed is wearing. This is an as above, so below connection with the points it makes. Geometry, yes. Getting acquainted with the pyramid, what the triangle does, what it's good for in your environment. There are already studies proven that certain shapes and geometric formations that you can create easy can ward off pests from plants, from farms, from orchards. Ward off pests can extend the life preservation of the plants, of the fruit, that can give it more abundance, more stimulation, more growth stimulation, the plants, the orchard, the fruit trees. All simply through geometry and forming geometric pattern and coherence. This science, art, is being divulged, is open to you, to the public. It is being divulged and shared now. Okay? You see? See how it changes just plants and farming and growing. How it can change agriculture, your livestock. How it can change and help you, align you to your center point, to your unification point, to true balance, to true oneness and love. Your highest timeline. Paradise. Understand the connection here and what it can do for you, how it can transform your life in the most beautiful, beautiful way. Abundant way. Prosperous way. Free way. You see how it puts old systems out of business. You see how it invalidates the old system, the old businesses, the old ways of making money. You see the resistance and pull that can happen with this, with these upgrades, with these new technologies that even old scientists of past times, like Nikola Tesla, revealed. He revealed technology, geometry, magic, what some of you would interpret as magic. He revealed these things, free energy to you. But what happened? It was suppressed. The darker timeline fought against it and won and suppressed it in order to keep you enslaved and in an illusion, the Matrix. It's all connected. You see more and more, my beautiful friend, suppression is less right now, which gives you an opportunity, a window, dear Starseed, to do this, to practice these techniques and these methods, explore these things, and activate and create those geometric patterns within your home, within your body. Align yourself. Engage the physical with the non-physical. Break free. You have a larger portal and opening during this time. You will continue to have it, yes, from this point onward, years to come. But you do have bigger windows than others, times where we recognize the resistance is less and when the resistance is more. When the dark side has its time in the tug of war, and when the tug of war faces the other light side, or when they merge and when they fully integrate, when they fully unify. You see. Biogeometry. It's one of the other keys we want to leave you with. We know the Silver Sphinx has talked about this already, but one last little sign we do want to make you further aware of. Crows, ravens, black crows, ravens. They do signify when the darker forces are nearby or trying to influence you or trying to gather information from you in order to share with the darker forces and darker timeline. Yes? Remember this. Many of you know the spiritual meanings and associations of this creature already, but we want to further aware you. Because it is happening more and more. But you must be able to see it, recognize it, acknowledge it. It can just simply serve as a warning, or even as a happy confirmation for you, because it means that you are very tuned in, activating, breaking free on your soul's journey and path to true paradise, to truth. See how we brought it all the way back to truth again. This is where we feel we must leave you in this channeling, in this video. This vessel, the Silver Sphinx, needs a break. So much available to you now, so much coming through to you now. Allow yourself the space to digest, to process. Allow yourself, many of you, especially starseeds, now the space, freedom to create and to share, to put out, to create, to put out. Share and speak your truth. So much love to you from the Rays of Prometheus, your Lyran brothers, sisters. So much love and light to you. We're here to help you, support you, and further activate you. We're so excited, as should you be too. Some of you know it takes me a minute. Sometimes for me it feels like forever, but then I look at linear time and I'm like, oh, it doesn't take that long. But sometimes it takes me a minute to just readjust. Because what it is, it's, you know, it's a consciousness readjustment. I have not been used to communicating this way, telepathically, essentially telepathically, channeling telepathic. I've not been used to communicating this way, so it still takes me a little bit more of a minute to like breathe and sort of drop back down in a denser timeline is what it feels like. And I know that's almost silly because it's just a form of communication, but that's kind of what it feels like. You kind of have to elevate yourself, especially from where we've been. You have to elevate yourself in your consciousness in order to access that higher timeline, but also the truer, you know, timeline and your higher self, your higher abilities, your psychic abilities. I hope I'm explaining that kind of, you know, okay. Hope it makes some sense. Because yeah, like I said, I'm like shifting sort of mindsets and my frame of mind, my heart and brain coherence. And so it's just, it's very interesting. Because as a psychic, you know, just how I've been growing and developing here, it's just the veil between worlds just is thinner. It has grown so much thinner for me. I feel like I'm not that far off from completely piercing the veil. You know, it's almost like, and I feel like that's where a lot of us, especially starseeds, that's how we feel. That's where we're at right now with our journey, with our psychic activation and abilities. It's just, I love seeing it and I love feeling it with myself. You know, I'm not just getting confirmation from other people or the government or a scientist. I'm getting confirmation from myself. Real experiences happening to me. And I see that all over the world with so many starseeds and people sharing online. You know, this is where the internet has been such a powerful tool. Love it. But the veil is growing thinner. Whew. Yeah, but sometimes it's becoming a little bit more normal for me where I can ground and find balance again. But, you know, just the direction that humanity as a whole, us as a collective as a whole, where we're headed, where our communication is changing, like I spoke about in that one blog I wrote, how our communication is changing. This is part of the ascension. This is part of our graduation to a higher timeline, and the ascension, just, you know, paradise, being in a more state of awareness, which leads us to paradise. It's all so fascinating and connected, and anyway, I guess I'm gonna leave my rambling at that, because I could spiral into so many subjects and make so many connections right now, and just could go on and on and on forever, because I'm so activated right now. I'm so tuned in. So I'm not gonna do that, because yeah, we already, and you know, it's over an hour. This video is over an hour, so you know, I don't want to. But wow, truly so many exciting, nerve-wracking, you know, it might make some of us nervous, but exciting and thrilling adventures ahead. And I like that the Lyrans have given us a lot of comfort, saying that we can feel protected through the turbulence, that we can feel protected in the midst of the chaos and the transition period. Because, you know, it makes it feel a little lighter, more like an adventure instead of like a hard lesson, if that makes sense. Yeah. Okay. It was lovely sharing this with you guys. Check the descriptions box for more information, link to my website and blog, and to the Silver Sphinx prophecies mentioned. All those links and information below. Cheers for now.